do 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 do. Hello and welcome to Give Life. I am your host, meek, mild-mannered Paul Abramson. And coming to you from my multi-trillion-dollar recording studio. So this is episode 5, as you can see. And I'm going to talk about a $20 prepper kit today. First, let me give you, if you haven't been to my webpage before, or my channel, I'm 65. I've lived in Europe for 3 years, lived in Japan for 5 years. I've lived all over the U.S., originally from Seattle, kind of. I live in southern Indiana now, but I've lived on the East Coast, Texas, Florida, Chicago, I don't know, lots of places. And I lived in Japan for 5 years, wrote for a magazine, became an editor when I was there. Also wrote, that was a secular magazine, regular. And then also wrote part-time for a government newspaper. Learned quite a bit about, more than most foreigners, about Japanese bureaucracy and government preparations, earthquakes. Did you know that Japan gets like 10% of the world's earthquakes? A lot. Well, I became known as an expert on foreigners' preparation for earthquakes, okay? Because foreigners, a minority person or a foreign person has additional needs besides just the regular natives. And you need ID, you need to get out. If you're in a big city, start walking out. If you have a major earthquake, start leaving the major city. If you're a minority or you're a foreigner and you don't, particularly if you don't speak the language well and the chips are down, that's the wrong time to be trying to ask for help when other people are in need also. And rumors get started that, so-and-so people are looting the stores or something like that. Folks, when the chips are down, people turn inward, you really see the dark side of human nature, and it's happened over and over and over again in human history. Okay, so I was actually on NHK Radio, which is Japan's equivalent of NPR. NPR for the United States, National Public Radio for the new news service on the radio and stuff. And I wrote articles, and I wrote a few books when I was in Japan. Okay, I did a lot of stuff. Okay, so now, $20 prepper, okay? The $20 prepper. This is not clickbait, this is honest. So I am going to put this list, I'll put this online where you can print it. I'll put it in probably RTF format, since I don't think anyone can attach viruses to RTF. So in text format and RTF. So the thing I'm reading to you, actually I'll show it to you here over my face and stuff. So let me go ahead and get started here. And the emphasis is on practicality and general needs, what everyone needs, what everyone's going to need. And the first thing you're going to need is water. Now, you may think that's so basic and you've never been short of water, but have you ever been hiking or been out in the woods and you're running low on water or something? Or out in the desert, that's even worse, obviously, because of the heat. I'll tell you what, a couple days without water, you've got real problems. And we always assume the tap is going to be on. Well, if there's an earthquake, there's a tornado, there's a EMP, electromagnetic pulse, something like that, we may have a disruption of service. This is cheap. This is $1, a gallon of water. Would you buy 2 of them? Please, if you do nothing else, if you take none of the other advice from this video, please, this week, buy 2 gallons of water per person in your household, your family, your household. Will you please do that? It's only $2. Yes, it's heavy, but you only got to carry it twice. Once from the store to your car, and then from your car, if you have a car or a moped or whatever, and then from your car into the house, into the bottom of a closet. You can use the bottom of a closet. My plastic bags. Of course, I forgot something. Here I am telling you to be prepared. Okay, let's see. I didn't bring any plastic. Okay, 2 gallons of water. That's the most important single thing. Okay, there's a saying: 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Okay, so this is general. Some people can last longer than 3 weeks without food, but it's kind of a general thing. So and if you go 3 minutes without air, you got a problem. Okay, 3 days without water is a real problem. I want to tell you a brief story. This is a bad reference, but it shows you how desperate a person can become. World War II, the Nazis, they had the Jews go to the train stations, and then they'd get on trains and they'd be in these trains locked in there for days, and these people had no food, no water. Well, after a couple of days, you've got a serious problem if you have no water. Who would think to carry water in a thing like that? Obviously they're going to stop. Obviously they didn't. And these people had to, if they had any valuables, if they had an heirloom of some kind of brooch or a bracelet or a necklace, where the train would stop, they would have to trade it to someone outside to get a cup of water or something. After 2 or 3 days, you will get so thirsty. There are guys who do prepping, and they'll be sitting there. Okay, I'm sorry if I don't mean to be offending anyone in particular, but oh yeah, I'm ready for the end of the world. Bring it on, right? Okay. Well, do you have water? Okay. Do you have water? Okay. And just in case, if the tap shuts off, you need some water. Okay. You really do. If you do nothing else this week, buy 2 gallons of water per person. Okay. 6 cans about of beans, vegetables, or fruit. Now, these are peach slices. Ignore the brand names. Ignore the brand names. But you see, if you can see that, the top pops open and the top will come open. You don't need a can opener for this. Okay, these 2 you do. This is chili beans. Again, ignore the brand name. And you can open this. Now, if the electricity's off, okay, too bad if you have a nice nuclear-powered electric can opener that says, yes sir, I will open this for you, and opens it. Okay, that's not going to work. You need a manual one. Okay, get one at a thrift store. It's cheap. Okay, or you can have a pocket knife. Hey, pocket knife. If you have a pocket knife with one of these blades on it, that will open it. What you do for this, actually I was talking at a church recently, and a woman said, how would you open a can with this? Okay, I'm not going to open this can. Actually, wait a minute, what do I have here? Here it is. I'll open this mixed vegetables, and I'll eat it later today. Yeah, you wanted to know my life story, didn't you? Okay, so the way you'd open it with this kind of a blade, here, here I got a side camera. Can you see that blade? Hopefully you can see that. Okay, or I was in the Army long ago, P-38, and so this is just second hand to me. Click, 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 click. Okay, so I'm going to kind of show you. Let's see, I don't think from the side camera you won't be able to see it. Let me get a little bit higher up here. Do. Okay, can you see what I'm doing here? I think you can. Okay, so the way you open it, I'm left-handed. Okay. So I don't know if you heard the seal break, but you just go around real slow, just incrementally going around the lid. Now, when you get part of the way through, if it's a completely full can, you're either going to need to pour off or drink off some of the liquid. Okay, and actually maybe to show you that it's safe to drink this liquid. It's not going to taste good, but. Tastes good. You don't like my sense of humor? There's lots of other channels out there. Wait, don't go away, don't go away. Come back here, come back. Okay, so anyway, so I'm going to stop going around just a second. I'm going to drink a little bit more liquid so I can tip this towards you. Okay, can you kind of see that? I assume you can see that somehow without me spilling it all over. But you can open a can that way, okay? It's not as convenient, not as much fun. Okay, now, but it works. Okay, 2 cans of sardines. You don't have to have sardines. You can have those little wieners, Vienna sausages or something like that. Some kind of meat, some kind of protein is what I'm saying. You actually don't need this. I was just thinking filling This is green beans I showed you before. I mean, just something to eat. So whatever, this is $1. These are like $1.25 each, something like that now. If you get green beans on sale now, they're up to like 75 cents. Isn't that amazing? Used to be 2 for $1 for a long, long time. Okay, a manual can opener of some kind, right? Here's my Gerber. You can have a Leatherman or a Gerber or something. This has got all kinds of blades in it and attachments and stuff. You don't have to have a pocket knife. A good pot is not in the $20 price, okay? But a knife that you buy, say, from a thrift store could be, okay? Or a utility knife like this. You need, I would say you need some kind of a blade, okay? This is good because it closes. This is good if you can, at a thrift store, they often keep the knives behind the counter. Just because they don't want people to get hurt or some child to reach in and cut themselves. So you might have to ask for the knives. Do you have any kitchen knives by chance? Oh yeah, they're over here. Tell me which one you want. They're $2 each, whatever. Okay, well, you look through them. Some are a lot higher quality than others. I'm going to put this in here so I don't hurt myself. Okay, roll of toilet paper. Now the toilet paper has multiple uses, which I will not go into detail on, but you could use this as a napkin. You could use it to blow your nose. It's good thin paper. It's not robust at all, but if the water is off, if you've got electricity off, water off and stuff like that, you need to keep yourself clean. You need to, this is vitally important. Dysentery, other diseases are going to start spreading. I'm talking about an emergency situation, obviously. Flies. Within 2 or 3 days, you're going to have flies. You're going to have all kinds of other things going on. I don't want to go into the details, but the thing is that keep yourself clean as best you can. This is not actually in the $20, but hey, I'm going to go over some things that you can add to it. But these are real handy. These wipes, like you can get it. These are actually not that expensive if you buy got a little case of them and stuff. Okay, roll of toilet paper. Okay, safety pins. Now I'll explain the safety pins, but there's all different sizes of safety pins out there. You got these little tiny ones. This is not what I'm talking about. These will work, kind of, but I would say get the big ones. Okay, here's the small ones. I'm assuming you can see this. I'm going to put it to the side camera since that's closer to me. Okay, and here's the big ones. Okay, these one reason for the safety pins is if someone injured their arm, then you want to be able to use, I'm going to recommend t-shirts here in a minute, like 3 safety pins, and use that t-shirt to make a sling. Okay, does that make sense? And you need to hold the weight. If you got these little safety pins, they're not going to hold the weight. You need the big safety pins to hold the weight, to make sure it's not going to come loose and then hurt the person even worse. Okay, 10 or 20 feet of string or rope. Could be just about any kind of string. Even some of these things are strong enough now that you could, that's pretty strong. Here's some twine, here's some rope. This is serious stuff. Now this whole thing, this breaks the budget, except that I'm not saying get 50 feet. I'm saying 10 or 20 feet. So you can get part of a roll, right, from somewhere. Or this one, this is serious. Oh, this is paracord. This is paracord. 160-pound rating. Woohoo! Okay, but anyway, so what I'm saying is something is better than nothing. Okay? When I was in Japan, I told you I was an expert in this. They have these kits, earthquake kits, $50 or $100, the equivalent of, or the earthquake kits. Here's the problem. People don't buy them. Well, some people do. Most people don't, and then they have nothing. So my thinking was, as I developed this kind of a kit idea, was what is something that's so cheap that you really have no excuse for not putting it together. Okay, and I thought, well, $10 or $20. That's two or three lunches the way the prices are now, right? That's a half a tank of gas. You can't afford it? I'm sorry, you need to make the money to do that. You need to do this. If nothing else, as I said before, please buy 2 gallons of water. I'm on my knees, virtually on my knees, virtually, since we're on the internet here, right? And begging you to get 2 gallons of water. Take it home. Yes, they're heavy. This week. Okay, anyway, I'm not done yet. Small knife, which I said a knife or a pocket knife or something from a thrift store, $1, maybe 50 cents, maybe $2. 2 t-shirts. Now, most people have extra t-shirts, okay? Now, what is a t-shirt? 100% cotton. It is quality material. This is your new pillowcase during the emergency, okay? This is your pillowcase. I will prove it to you. That's not a pillowcase. That's a t-shirt. He's trying to fool us. Again, you don't like my humor? Well, I like my humor, and I watch my videos. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. Okay, anyway. But this is your new pillowcase for the next 2 or 3 nights. If you're wherever it is and you need some kind of a pillow, okay, well, now you got one, okay? No, it's not what you wanted. It's not what I want, but it's better than your head laying like this and then you wake up the next morning. Oh, yeah, I slept pretty good. I'm fine. Oh, this is great. This is great. Yeah, how come everybody's going downhill all day long here? I don't get it. Why is everybody slanted that way? Are we in Pisa or something? Okay, so this is your pillowcase. This is also, it's 100% cotton. This is a towel, right? Okay, I mean, be inventive, okay? We're trying to take things you already have, like a couple of t-shirts. You got a couple extra t-shirts, don't you? Right? Or, like I say, if someone injured their arm, you could make a sling out of it if you had some safety pins, okay? Right? I can't believe I'm having to show you. Okay, let's see. Well, just to make sure people understand what I'm talking about. You should take the bottom. You have this on, and then you put it up here, okay, right? Why are you rolling your eyes? What is that about? Okay, I'm getting too much detail here. Okay, you need a pack of matches or a lighter of some kind, okay? Oh, great, now it won't light. I shouldn't laugh when I start a fire. People think funny of me. But you can get these at the dollar store. So one place you can go is Dollar Tree, okay? Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar. I think Dollar Tree is probably the best bang for the buck for some of this stuff. Half this stuff you can get there. You could get a thing of string, maybe not real nice, for $1.25. You can get one of these, $1.25. You could get a candle, $1.25. You can get water, $1.25. Probably even a 6-pack, probably for. You couldn't get a 6-pack for $1.25. Anyway, but you can get half of this stuff is from the dollar store. Okay, lighter, 1 or 2 books to read. Now, I'm a reader. If you're not, well, this might be a good time to start. I have when I had done these over the years, which I've been doing these for over 20 years, is I have 1 or 2 books that I want to read someday. And so it is now available for me to read. And then I complained at the beginning I forgot my grocery bag because I was collecting all my stuff to show to you. The plastic bags from the store that you get groceries in. Get 2 of those nested, but what I'm suggesting is 6 or 8 of them all nested together. Now you've got 4 carrying containers. What do you need 4 carrying containers? I don't know, but they're free. You already have them, right? You have way too many of them. You probably have a bin of these plastic bags. I know I do. And then you put double layer them. And now if you had to carry a jacket, let's say it's cold at night but hot during the day, then you take your sweater or your long sleeve shirt off and you're carrying it around in this bag. You're not going to have to set it in the dirt or something like that. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, possible additions. Prescription drug. Okay, so this is my $20 kit. Okay, I'll repeat what it is. Okay, 2 gallons of water per person. Okay, that should last you a few days. Okay, and again, this is I call it prepper. But this is like for 3 days, so that you can survive 3 days without having to go out, okay? Okay, 3 gallons of water, 6 cans of beans and or vegetables or canned fruit, okay? Whatever it is you'd want, so you have minimum. 2 cans of sardines, 1 manual can opener, 1 roll of toilet paper, 6 to 12 safety pins, 10 to 20 feet of string or rope, okay? A small knife of some kind. Oh, that's right, put it over here so I wouldn't hurt myself. And small knife, 2 t-shirts, okay, which you probably already have or you can get from the thrift store for a few bucks each or a couple bucks each, a pack of matches or a lighter of some kind, okay, and 1 or 2 paperback books to read or cards or a game, some kind of game. Why not get a game of, did you know the dollar stores have games you can play like Sorry or Monopoly or something like that? Why not get one of those for $1 and then if you're with 3 or 4 other people, have a contest to see who owns Boardwalk and Park Place, and you know what I mean? Why not? I mean, you do something with the time rather than just being there, oh, everything, how are we going to survive this? Well, after 3 days, for most disasters, within 3 days, help is coming, unless it's national. But if it's local or even regional, within 3 days, okay, you're gonna have help coming. Actually, I want to mention a couple other things here, but okay, so, but if you have a chronic illness of some kind, like diabetes or I have high blood pressure, or something else, you need to take medicines, you need 3 days supply. Now, I'm actually recommending you make 2 of these kits, a variation of this, and have it at work, in your locker or in your desk, okay, or in the back of your car. But in the back of your car, excuse me, you got to worry about freezing in the winter or getting real hot in the summer. And if you have a liquid on the side or something like that, and it's going to make a mess, make sure that it's braced upright if you have 1 or 2 bottles of something in the back of your car, something like that, okay? So you need 3 days of prescription medicine, okay? And again, I know this is the off chance. The thing is that what's for most people, most of what you need, okay? Now, other things, contact lens cleaner. Do you wear contact lenses? Can you get an extra case, just to have it, and then put it in your work kit? Because otherwise, when you take if you were stuck there for a day or 2 or something, I don't know. They've had power outages. They've had power outages in major cities, right? Where New England gets knocked down. It's once every 20 years and once every 30 years. Be my luck, it'll be next week, right? Okay. Anyway, but you know what I mean. Okay. Feminine products. Okay. You may need. Why not have a few extras just in case, either for yourself or for other ladies in the office or something like that. Now, I didn't put a first aid kit in this because I'm assuming you're not injured. Well, I shouldn't say I'm assuming. Most people are not going to be injured. Some people are. But why not throw a few Band-Aids in? Why not have some kind of a, ignore the brand names, or some kind of medicines. Pepto-Bismol or the equivalent. It's a good idea. Some iodine in case someone gets cut or scraped. Some iodine, first aid antiseptic of some kind. Okay, I've got some duplication here. Where's my pain reliever thing? Hydrocortisone. There it is. This is a Tylenol type thing. Tylenol or Advil or whatever it is, equivalent or something like that. But, and if you're a smoker, I strongly recommend, I don't recommend smoking, you need an extra pack of cigarettes or 2 in there. The day that there's a major earthquake or power outage or flood or some other catastrophe or a tornado, that's not the day you want to quit smoking, okay? I don't know that from experience, but I just have a funny feeling that's a bad time to do that. Okay, first aid kit. Blue masking tape. This stuff is so handy. This blue tape, this blue painter's tape, it normally does not leave a residue if it's not on, but you could use this. Let's say you were out in the woods somewhere and you needed to mark a trail. This, on a branch, could be, so that people can follow, taped on or on a rock or something like that, could be a very good way to note a trail, okay, for an emergency, okay? It's just easy and quick, okay? Rubber bands, just like safety pins, just have multiple uses. Safety pins still are a pin. If someone got a blister, you could heat it up to sterilize it, right? I'm not going to do that here. You could heat it up, sterilize it, and then if you had to deal with the blister or lance something like that, well, you can't lance something, but rubber bands, candles, and a flashlight. I didn't put flashlight in the $20 one, but if you had an office type emergency, right? If you had an office type emergency and the lights are out, no one can use the restroom now, right? I'm right. It occurred to me that, okay, you have windows, you have an office, or even if in a factory, there's usually windows, but not in the restroom. And so having a cheap flashlight, these are cheap these days. LED flashlights, 1 or 2 batteries in it, and you're going to be the hero of the office. Just make sure that they're going to give it back. Okay, so now, several other things. Okay, I mentioned the idea of cigarettes. Coffee. I'm a coffee drinker. So if I had 2 or 3 days, again, let's say a work type or a school type thing, I don't know if you've ever had a caffeine headache, but it just hurts. So why not get an extra can of coffee, can or a bottle of coffee? They have it, and it's going to last probably a couple years or a few years or something like that, just like the canned vegetables. Have that in your bottom desk drawer at work or something. Why not just water? Say at your work one, maybe you don't want a gallon of water at work, but maybe a couple of bottles, small bottles of water, maybe a juice thing. That's going to give you some carbohydrates, right? Okay, what have I forgotten to tell you? This kit here. Okay, so we have the kit. One thing I do is I always refill my gas tank when it gets down to about 1/4. Because at 1/4 of a tank, I could still go 100 miles in my car, okay? Because there's still like 3 or 4 gallons left at 30 miles a gallon. I could get somewhere else. So, so we don't know when an emergency is going to happen, a 9/11 or some other kind of an emergency, and it's like, oh no, but if I have at least 1/4 of a tank, I could get somewhere. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so I always refill. I don't want to be paranoid. We don't want to live in fear. You don't want to be paranoid, but you do want to think things through, and you get down to about 1/4 of a tank, okay, refill it. I used to know one woman who she would refill at half a tank. She would refill at half a tank. I guess she got caught at one point, and so just for her whole life, she always refilled at half a tank. I would say 1/4 of a tank is probably enough. You know what I mean? It's like 1/4 of a tank. If that gives you 100 miles, if you can't find a gas station within 100 miles, you got other problems. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Another thing to do is make an effort to get to know your neighbors a little bit. There's a Chinese saying, I should have looked this up. There's a Chinese saying, and it goes something like, a neighbor nearby is better than a relative far away. Okay? A neighbor nearby, this is not an exact quote. Well, and I'm not speaking in Japanese, or in Chinese, I'm sorry either. Chinese, okay. Anyway, but a neighbor nearby is better than a relative far away. You may have caring family and stuff, but if they're 20 miles away or 100 miles away or 1,000 miles away, it doesn't do you any good. Your neighbors can. I would make an effort to get to know your neighbors a little bit. So many of us don't know our neighbors. Now, I do. I will sometimes get an extra pizza, or I'll get cookies, and I'll give stuff to people, or I'll try to make an effort. If I try to make an effort to I don't want to be a pest, but just to have a positive relationship. There was a woman who moved in about a month ago, 2 doors down, and so the next time I saw her, it was morning. I said, hey, would you like a can of coffee? And she was with a friend, and I said, hey, hold on, wait just a minute. I had 2 cans of, and this is nice coffee. This is the Starbucks stuff, okay? Anyway, so I had 2 cans of coffee in my fridge and took it over and gave it to him, just trying to be a nice gesture, okay? Anyway, either have some kind of a barbecue for your neighbors, or in some way get to know the people behind you in the alley, across the street, on either side of you. Enough of a rapport that if they see someone on your property, or they see you having a problem, they have a reason to want to help you. Okay? Community, networking, this is something that when the chips are down, you need. And what you definitely need is you want to not have to go out. If there's a time of interruption of service, whether it's earthquake, tornado, or power outage, whatever it is, the more that you don't have to go anywhere, the better that it is, okay? So I live in Indiana now. I used to live out in the country in Oregon. This is years ago. Probably once a year we'd lose power out in the country where I live. I'd come home from work, park in the carport, go in the back door, lights won't come on, everything's off. to me, this was now an adventure. This was indoor camping. If you prepare, if you do some kind of preparation ahead of time, then this disaster or this horrible situation can be so much better, my friends. So I actually would treat it like indoor camping. I had above my fridge, I had matches and candles, and I'd light a couple of candles. I'd go get the fireplace going, and then I'd open up 1 or 2 cans of either chilled pork and beans or something like that, and I'd sit in front of the fire and have my dinner. Meanwhile, my neighbors I'd see them driving out there on the road. Okay, they're driving back and forth. Oh no, the microwave doesn't work. We're all gonna die. I mean, it's like with a little bit of preparation, and you know it's going to happen once every year or once every 2 years for where I was out in the country in Oregon. So why not prepare for that, and then make it an early evening, just watch the fire and then go to bed and get up in the morning if the power's still out, leave early for work so I can go get a McDonald's breakfast on the way into work. Now, doesn't that make sense? Rather than it being an emergency and terrible. Okay, now 5-gallon buckets. Okay, I didn't put this in my thing. You can sometimes get those for free. Now, there's different kinds of materials. I need to finish this up. But a 5-gallon bucket sure is a handy size, and some places will give them to you for free. What you want is food grade. You don't want one that was used for paint or turpentine or some other harsh chemical. You want food grade 5-gallon buckets, and sometimes you can get them for free. Might be at a Costco or a Sam's Club or some big bakery. Could be a campus, could be a university or something like that, and you could just go to the kitchen and say, hey, do you guys ever get extra 5-gallon buckets? How many do you want? 5 or 10 or 20? I mean, that's how I got my 5-gallon buckets. I got half a dozen of them with lids. You want lids, but they're very handy for just about anything. If you had an emergency, this is outside of the $20 kit, but you're kind of thinking ahead. What I'm doing is thinking ahead for what other things that you might need. Okay, extra 5-gallon buckets. When I travel, I don't fly that much now, but I've had times in my life where I'm flying quite a bit. My carry-on bag, besides my carry-on stuff, has an extra t-shirt and an extra pair of shorts, but they're actually usually a swimsuit shorts. The reason is, if you've ever had your luggage lost, if your suitcase gets lost, what are you going to change into? How are you going to wash your clothes? Well, if you have just a t-shirt and a swimsuit, and a woman, I would say women, this is what you want rather than a bikini, okay, and a t-shirt and okay, yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, but this does not take up much space. But when I travel, okay, and so it is, then I have something to change into if and when, I shouldn't say when, because I've had my luggage lost a couple of times. And where did it go? You know, what happened to it? So the other thing is have a little bit of cash. I'm amazed how many people have zero money with them. Oh, please, can you get a $20 bill, fold it up, put it in your wallet in a place where you're not going to use it, so that when you run out of money, you still have $20, okay? What's even better would be $50 or $100. With $100, you could buy a tire if you needed to, okay? Okay, one last thing I want to mention here, and that is, it's related to human nature. And what I recommend, I've done a lot, I've had decades, it was 30 years ago when I lived in Japan. I've thought about this for a long time, and I see people's reaction. Oh yeah, I have I have a couple months of food at my house. And the first thing that some people say is, great, I'm coming to your place. Now that's a joke, but in a way it's not a joke, is it? If you advertise that you are prepping in any way, you have even 3 days worth of food, there's gonna be that knocking on the door. Hey Paul, remember what good friends we are? Remember how much you've always liked me? Yeah, I'm kind of hungry. What you got for me? And if you had 6 or 10 people, all of a sudden your 2 months worth of food is gone in 3 days. You see what I'm saying? I would almost suggest that you don't tell anyone that you have this, and at work you don't tell anyone that you have emergency stuff. because they're gonna. Here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's just based on experience. Oh, that's great. You're a smart guy for doing that. But now that's in their mind. And they actually will probably laugh at you. That guy, Paul, did you know he's got extra water and stuff like that? He thinks an earthquake is going to happen or something. What's wrong with him? Okay, and then if you, when an emergency happens, it's gone. You had 2 or 3 waters. I sure am thirsty. Okay, now the electricity's off, so the water fountain stops working. You see what I'm saying? And now that what you thought you had prepared for an emergency, particularly in a work type environment, or if it's in a neighborhood and you're at home, and now 3 or 4 neighbors are coming over saying, oh, my little Johnny sure needs something to eat or something like that. Well, what are you going to do? So I really believe what you probably want to do is not tell anyone, and that includes your kids in a way. I know friends from church, and the woman keeps trying to have extra foods in the basement, and the kids think it's funny that mom does this, and they're constantly rating it as a joke, not realizing this is their future. This could be their anyway. It's with children anyway, and particularly teenagers, don't have common sense. Obviously, if you're a teenager, you think you know everything. I understand that. There was a bumper sticker. I mentioned this in episode 1. There used to be a bumper sticker. I wish I had a picture of it. Ask your teenagers for the answers while they still know everything. That's kind of funny, isn't it? Because they think they know so much. They know everything. They got it all figured out. Yeah, they're not really. So I would say don't tell anyone that you have extra supplies. Now, once it happens, and if you're taking care of, you're helping 2 or 3 or 4 other people, or just your family, just be where you are for that 2 or 3 days. You've got your water, you got a little bit of food. It's not what you want. It's not filet mignon. It's not the best, but it's going to keep you going, right? For the next 3 days. You don't want to be out there with the people who are, trying to get and take what they want. Oh, I forgot wire. Harbor Freight. This is like $1. This is wire, just like the string. Now this is some real wire. This is serious wire. Here, I should show it to the side camera. So probably you don't want that, not in a $20 kit. But wire, just like string, sure can be handy sometimes, okay? What else did I forget to show you here? I think I showed you just about everything. Oh, I talked about the prescription medicines. So why not take, say for work, in 3 days or 5 days worth of medicine, and then have it in an old prescription bottle. And then probably what you want to do is once every year or once every 2 years, you need to refresh your supply of stuff. You got sardines and a few other canned things that you took in. Rotate those out, eat them, but bring in the other stuff. And I think I pretty much showed you everything. A couple of pens might be nice. I mentioned either books or playing cards or some kind of game. A couple extra pens. Some paper might be a good idea. Oh, excuse me. For your work one, what you could also do, this is $1 or $1.25 at Dollar Tree. This is $1. Okay, some paper plates. And is there a deli that you frequent near where you work? Why not get a few of these packages? This has a napkin in it, fork and a knife. Pretty handy. If you had a few of these and you had some paper plates, okay, now you're living like a king. Oh, you little people are hungry? Oh, I'll let you watch me eat. Okay, I need to stop here. Okay, but I mean, you can get these packs. Or at Dollar Tree, I think they have packs of like 8 knives, 8 spoons, 8 forks. $1.25. Why not get that? And so for $2.50, you got a set of plates, and you got a set of those things. So thank you for watching. I think my next episode is going to be called Poor Man's EDC. EDC means everyday carry. I like watching these prepper videos. I like watching everyday carry, but some of this stuff is like $200, $150. Excuse me, what? Or I have some of this nice stuff. I showed you the Gerber there a minute ago, and now I've lost it here. Hold on here. There it is. I mean, or a Leatherman or other fine quality tools. I have some of the nice stuff, but some of these kits, it's like hundreds of dollars for everyday carry. So I think I'm going to do just like this $20 prepper kit is. I think I'm going to do a poor man's EDC. I think that'll be the next one. So that'll be episode 6 of this here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.